Welcome to Beyond the Numbers, the podcast where conversations about wealth go deeper. This isn't about flashy success or one-size-fits-all advice. It's about real people designing financial lives that align with who they are, what they value, and the legacies they're building. We bring together voices from business, finance, law, and leadership to talk about the moments that shape them and the strategies that sustain them. Here is your host, Chris Everett.
Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Numbers, where money meets meaning and purpose. So what if helping a business find its true identity was less about design and more about discovery? So today's guest has spent his career doing exactly that. As founder and art director of C2 Creative Studios, he doesn't just make things look good. He helps brands understand their unique positioning in a crowded marketplace and translate that clarity into vision language that actually resonates. He believes great design isn't decoration, it's a competitive advantage. His studio has helped countless brands stay relevant as markets shift and evolve, working at the intersection of art and commerce, creativity and strategy, beauty and business just results. So today we're exploring what it means to build a brand with intention and what business owners mostly get wrong about branding and what happens when creativity meets a clear sense of purpose. So please join me in welcoming Patrick Smith, founder and art director at C2 Creative Studio. Patrick, welcome to Beyond the Numbers.
Great to be here, Chris. Thanks for having me.
My absolute pleasure. So Patrick, let's start at the beginning. What led you to found C2 Creative Studios? And where did your specific focus on unique positioning come from? You know, it's intentional language for a branding studio. So help us understand what you saw in the market that made you want to build this.
Sure. So we're going on last year was our 15th anniversary. This is our 16th year. We're entering that. When we first
Congratulations.
Thank you. When we first started, I'd been in the ad agency world, marketing world for quite a while. And one thing that I noticed was the creatives were very far away from the client, meaning in the chain of communication. In a lot of agencies, there's a lot of project managers and account people and just layers in between the client and the creative work. So I thought we do our best work, or I do my best work when we're working directly with the client on a day-to-day basis, and kind of removing that telephone game. So that was kind of the beginning of kind of just, it's not necessarily a new model. It's just not a model that's out there across a lot of agencies. And in terms of the positioning part of things, that just came from years of training at some really great shops. I was really fortunate to work with some very, very smart people and just try to absorb everything I could and take best practices from each opportunity and then kind of made our own.
Yeah, it's often we stand on the shoulders of other great people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as someone who made the leap from employee to freelancer to studio founder, you're living with the financial realities of entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Variable income, business expenses, building something from scratch. So what financial considerations played into your decision to start C2?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there wasn't a lot of deep thinking around it. We just kind of jumped. And when I say we, there was myself and I had a creative partner, a writing partner, and slash business partner. And we just kind of jumped in with both feet. And fortunately, we started getting projects almost right away. So there was a little bit of maybe a little bit of a lag, like a month or something like that, where we were out there knocking on doors and shaking hands and all that kind of thing. But it was really just a matter of just jumping in and starting it. Now, that it doesn't always work out that way. Yes, there's things as we started to bring in revenue, you have to start planning for. We need to buy this kind of software. We need to make sure we have money in the bank for this. So if we need to put a deposit down on this kind of project or this with this vendor. So a lot of it was, you're borrowing from yourself for a little bit out of the gate. So that was really kind of our plan, if you will.
So is there something you wish you would have known earlier about the financial side of running the business?
Oh, yeah. In the very, very beginning, I tell a story quite a bit. In the very, very beginning, maybe the first 2 or 3 years, there wasn't enough projects going on or enough revenue happening that we couldn't keep our arms around it, or or at least I had it all in my head. It was all right here. I knew where all the invoices were. I knew who was paying. I knew who wasn't. I had a nice little spreadsheet. And then there's a point where you cross the threshold and you can't keep your arms around it. There's too many projects. There's too many. You're managing other people. You're trying to remember, did a client send that invoice, or they direct deposited it? There's just too many things to keep tabs on. And the one thing I wish I would have known is I wish I would have invested in software earlier. The doomsday part of all this, and this is what made me jump into being a little bit smarter and proactive, was we did a really large project, website project for an enterprise level manufacturer, and I think there were 3 invoices, and we forgot to send the last one. And there you go. That'll make you remember. So
Yeah, there's nothing like a great team and great software to really keep everything singing, dancing, and humming. It's important.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, walk us through that unique positioning and what that actually really means in your practice. Because when a new client walks through your door or gets on a call with you, how do you help them discover what makes them different? What does that process really look like?
Sure. Well, we live in a commoditized environment where if there's a unique product or service, there's everybody else is out there trying to copy it.
Yeah.
And so you need to figure out a way, or businesses need to figure out a way to stand out and be unique. And it's not about being wacky or doing something off the wall, in my opinion, although sometimes those can work and they might work for a short time. But I think what we're trying to do and how we're trying to help our clients is have them build equity into their brand. And the way we get there is by trying to find what is the authentic self, what is unique to your business that nobody else can do. What's the secret sauce? It becomes more complex than that once we do a deeper dive, but it really is trying to find what's your best self and unraveling that, and then building a story around it and a campaign around it that customers actually care about and can connect to. And so that's what the C stands for in C2 is the connection part.
That's what it sounds like. You really have to get to know somebody and really why they're doing what they're doing, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're wearing a couple of hats on a daily basis. You're a founder and you're an art director. That's business leadership and creative work happening simultaneously, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So, right. I would imagine that these roles either complement each other from time to time, or maybe create some tension.
Yeah.
And so, has the business side of running C2 changed how you think about the creative side at all?
I guess it's an ongoing conversation that just never ends. I guess where the business part comes in sometimes and can influence the creative is you could spend all day, all week, all month, forever on a project. At some point, the cake has to be baked, and so when you have employees or contractors working on something, it's really important to set those boundaries up. Otherwise, you're just not being as efficient as you can be. At the same time, there's been plenty of times where we've had no budget, and I didn't care because we were going to do the coolest thing we could ever figure out, for this particular client. And it was more of an investment in ourselves, in the client, and then in the team. And let's do something that we've never done before. So they do play off each other. I think there's a time and place to do both. You can't be a reckless creative, 24/7, and then at the same time, you can't be a bean counter every day and squeeze the life out of the process. There needs to be a little bit of magic in the middle there.
Yeah, well, I would imagine that if the cash flow is fine, you have enough, revenue in the bank, you have enough cash in the bank, you can take some of those creative licenses.
Sure.
Because running a studio means you're running a business, managing cash flow, pricing creative work, making the payroll, building sustainable revenue.
Absolutely.
So that's the side that most people don't see, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they see the pretty pictures on a board or a presentation or a video, and it is a business, and There's lots of moving parts, like you said. There's payroll, there's other expenses, there's trying to plan for the next year, 2 years, 5 years. All those you have to buy
Mm-hmm.
software. There's endless amounts of software subscriptions now. Silicon Valley is not shy about
They're not.
creating more and more and more tools for us that we almost have to use. So it's never ending.
So let's talk about return on investment. So design can feel subjective to clients, right? Especially business owners who are used to measuring everything.
Sure.
So how do you help them understand the business value of good branding? How do you
Mhm.
demonstrate ROI when the product is visual and strategic?
Yeah. So this has been kind of a really I don't say struggle, but there's a lot of education that has to happen around this. The world has moved into like quarterly results. I need to see, stock market, stock prices going up, or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of tactical things like pay-per-click campaigns and social media campaigns where you can put something in the market and you can get results like tomorrow. You can see which ad's working better, the blue one or the green one, or the one that uses this headline versus that headline. And the reality is, yes, those are results, but are they really worth anything? Are they any good? Are you just putting out two pieces of junk, and it just so happens one aesthetically is looking better than the other? So pay per click, all those other tactics are great. You can get data from them. They are useful. However, what we try to remind clients is that this is a long term game. You have to look, 1 year out, 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out, and when we're doing branding, it's less about the result that's going to happen after one ad campaign. It's an ongoing conversation with the
Yeah.
customer or the market that needs to happen, and then hopefully over time, you've got a dialogue with the customer that is unique and nobody else is doing. Meaning you're solving problems for them, you're helping them in ways that they need to be helped, and all that kind of stuff. So controlling the conversation for the market as well, or for the category.
Well, and having a really good relationship with that client goes a long way. Yeah.
Yeah, you could market research yourself and just into a dark hole, and at some point, you need to do something to shake things up. A great example of this is
Mm.
everybody's talking about Liquid Death, the brand right now. It's canned water. It went against all the norms you could ever think of when coming out with a packaged good, and then
Mhm.
now they're like the darling of the water in the category. So following numbers and testing things all the time can leave some blind spots in terms of innovation.
Truly, truly, yeah. So, all right. So you talk about helping brands stay relevant, right?
Hmm.
That's branding.
Sure.
But that implies change and evolution over time, right? Just
Sure.
like the very thing you just mentioned. So, how do you help a brand grow and adapt without losing what made it successful in the first place? Like, is there a
Hmm.
line between evolution and erosion? Can you see it?
Man, that's a good. I don't know if I could see it. I think we know it when we feel it, kind of thing. It kind of goes back to what I was mentioning before. It's that positioning and that authenticity. Yes, times change, market dynamics change, competitors change, leadership changes, trends change. It doesn't mean the positioning, can't evolve a little bit over time. You don't want to change it every year,
Right.
but it's more fine tuning than a rework. But if you can tap into something authentic, again, and it's about that connection with the customer. What do they really need, and what can you deliver to them that's going to solve their problem? That's really the essence of it, and that will change. It will change over time. It's slowly but surely, but it is more of an evolution. Where it can erode is when, and this is kind of one of my worries about Liquid Death. I thought it was such a great name and great packaging, really cool branding, the whole bit. But now they've got 25 different SKUs in the store, and how many different like flavors and everything else. And so some of the rock and roll energy that it had before being the bad boy has turned into the commercialization. Let's try to capitalize on every opportunity, and sometimes that's where the eroding could start to happen. I'm not saying it's happening with them yet, but it could.
Yeah, too many. First of all, I would never buy a product named Liquid Death, but that's just me. Um, so, but you really touched on something that I wonder if you could share an example. I mean, without naming a client, of a brand discovery moment. A time when you
Mhm.
helped a business uncover something about themselves they just didn't even know. So what
Sure.
did that transformation look like, and what changed for them because of what you helped them uncover?
Sure. So this goes back a few years, but we were asked to come in and basically brand a peer-to-peer networking support group type of thing for a large nonprofit institution, and they were just struggling with their messaging. How are we going to stay
Mhm.
relevant? And we were pretty new to them, and we may have done one or two small projects, but this is the first big branding opportunity that we had with them. And in the course of the conversation, we were in their boardroom. There's probably 10 people around. The CEO's on the other end of the table from me, and we start just dissecting what their business is about, and part of their mission statement had a few key words in there, and we had a slide that started to take away all the noise about what their messaging was and what they wanted to be, and what they thought they wanted to be. It was a lot of erosion kind of stuff, and the authentic part of who they were was they were about breakthroughs with their audience, whether it was on a
Mhm.
technology front, whether it was on the human front, the support front, what have you. And we got to that last word, and the CEO just dropped her head, and I thought she was mad because I just thought, oh, we failed, we went way off course. She picked her head back up, and there was like a tear, welling up in her eye, and she said, I can't believe I've been staring at this for the last 10 years trying to figure out what we're about, and I came in here and you've solved it in one meeting. So I'm patting myself in the back like I did some miracle kind of thing, but that doesn't always happen. But that was a moment that I'll probably never forget in the business. It was very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but that strong branding affects business value, right? When a company
Yeah.
can charge, how it attracts ideal clients, and ultimately what it's worth if an owner ever decides to sell or transition.
Hmm.
So as a
Absolutely.
studio owner yourself, how do you think about the relationship between brand equity and the actual financial value of a business?
Oh wow. Well, I mean, think about Starbucks. I mean, it's not about the coffee so much. If you wanted to sell Starbucks, you're not. Well, you might be going after some of their locations. They definitely have the McDonald's model where they've got
Mhm.
locations. But if you take away the store part of it, what else is left? It's the symbol, it's the logo, it's the branding, and so that is real in a lot of cases on the consumer retail side of things. That really is the part that has the value and the equity. If you go into a B2B kind of business that's some uh, very unique under the hood technology that nobody cares about or knows about. That part might have more value in the marketplace than the technology brand's logo or something like that. But on the consumer side, it is the identity that is what matters, and that's why they're able to do like Red Bull. Is a good example of this. They can go and put on festivals anywhere in the world and have these crazy stunt events, and tens of thousands of people show up to these things. Why? Because it's Red Bull. It's if
Yeah.
you put the Barbie logo on that, it wouldn't work. So that's the magic of branding.
So, Patrick, this show's called Beyond the Numbers
Mhm.
because we believe the best decisions happen where money meets meaning and purpose. You've built a business around helping others clarify who they are. How do you think about that intersection between not clarity, creativity,
Mhm.
commerce, and meaning, in your own life and in your own work?
Sure. When they all can come together, it's almost like going to watch an orchestra or a band, and they all start hitting on the same notes and the same rhythm at the same. It can be 1 + 1 = 3 kind of effect, and so it can be fulfilling to see the creative help the commerce and all the way around. And it's fun when they start to gel and come together and create something unique. That's always very fulfilling.
It sounds a lot like what I do. So when I work with clients and everything starts to sing, dance, and hum together,
Hmm.
and you can feel the client relax in the
Sure.
chair, their shoulders drop, and they just relax because they get it. And
Yeah.
they finally feel like they've come to that place of not only knowing and understanding, but
Hmm.
they know how to move forward in it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Patrick, success can be measured in so many ways, right? Not only when you hear the music playing in your own business, but the revenue, the creative impact, the client relationships we talk about, the legacy. You're running a studio, doing
Mhm.
creative work, building something over time. How do you personally measure success? What metrics matter the most to you at this stage?
Sure. It's funny. There was a period maybe 10 years ago where I went through an exercise with some other business partners. I had some business partners at one point, and we found out through many late nights, many arguments, many consultants, and all like that we were all in the business for different reasons. One person was in it for community, another person was in it for the money, and I was in it for the work or the legacy. And so to me, legacies is they all matter, but is kind of the highest point on the mountain, if you will. And so to me, I just want to really be remembered for doing good work, and then having other people, whether it's employees or freelancers, come in and be able to do their best work, and then be able to help clients. There's nothing more satisfying than when a client says, "Hey, remember that ad you made for us 3 years ago? Ever since then, our trajectory's been moving up." That's a great feeling. I mean, that's when you can create something with them that has an impact on your business. That's what I want. I'd like to be remembered for.
Yeah, it's a feel good. So you've built
Yeah.
what many creative professionals aspire to: your own studio,
Mhm.
your own clients, your own terms, frankly. And
Mhm.
that often means managing multiple income sources that we touched on earlier:
Mhm.
studio revenue, potential, I would imagine, but potentially speaking, consulting, teaching in
Sure.
some ways. But from a financial planning perspective,
Mhm.
how do you think about balancing and sustaining those different streams? Is there any advice that you might give to a creative entrepreneur who's also
Sure.
trying to build a similar portfolio career?
Yeah, I mean, I try to open as many doors as you can and try them. You might not love all of them. I haven't been a paid guest speaker, but I know people that definitely are. Um, one thing that we do that you didn't touch on is we have products that we sell. We're not going to become bazillionaires, selling these $10 an item kind of things, but they're tools or materials that other designers or other creatives can use for a small cost. We just like putting out those things. It's part fun too for us to kind of make things like this. The other thing that we do.
Well, don't go past that, such
Sure.
as what?
Are you familiar with stock photography or stock uh,
Yes.
artwork? The stock artwork that we've made. So, for instance, you can go to a stock photography website and download cityscapes. If you want to make a mock-up, almost like your background is here,
Sure.
to show like an ad and placement of a city on a billboard or what have you. And what I've always struggled with looking at these, and this is how crazy I can be sometimes. I'm like, this doesn't look like Chicago. This looks like some desolate city up in the Arctic, and it's cold and depressing. And let's go out and make our own, lively, stock art kind of mock-up situations. So we've gone out and shot, photographed um, all types of different areas around Chicago just to give it more of a real life feel. And also for our Chicago clients, they appreciate it. They go, "Oh wow, that would be really cool if we did that billboard in that part of town." So those kinds of things, we just put them up for sale, and we just put a nominal cost on them. We're not trying to make, like I said, a ton of money on them, but we did put some time in there, so we just
Sure.
want some pizza money, basically.
All right. Well, so let's talk about some advice you might give.
Hmm.
So, for the entrepreneurs and business owners in our audience who are thinking about investing more intentionally into their own brand,
Mhm.
or who are building their own creative or purpose-driven
Mhm.
venture? What's the one piece of advice that cuts through all the noise?
Mm, I would say, don't ever be satisfied. You have to take a break every once in a while, but there's always a next level. We're always tinkering with new ideas, meaning our own branding, how we do business, our models that we use to bring in, or that we use with clients to kind of figure out how to build a website, or we'll launch a brand or whatever it is. So I think it's if you're a creative entrepreneur, you might have a little bit of OCD or be obsessed for some reason. So don't lose that, because it comes in handy. And the purpose behind it is just you'll keep moving forward, and things won't get stale. And I think that's one thing for me, is I always need something new to be working on. So I feel like we're always trying to push things forward a little bit, even if it's just incrementally on any given year.
Patrick, thanks for today's conversation and for sharing your journey, your philosophy, the work you're doing at C2 Creative Studios. So, for listeners who want to connect with you, Patrick, or learn more about C2,
Mhm.
they should probably just head over to c2creativestudios.com. Yeah?
Yep, that's the easiest way to find us. You could also Google us. There are other C2s businesses out there in the world, but if you Google C2 Creative Studio Chicago, we'll come up on different LinkedIn's and Instagrams and what have you.
Oh, perfect. And to our listeners, thank you for being part of Beyond the Numbers. If today's conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use it. And whether you're building a brand, launching a new venture, or managing the financial complexity that comes with running your own business, having a clear purpose and a solid financial foundation are what gives you the freedom to really do your best work. So that's what we help with at Everett Wealth Solutions. So reach out if you'd like to explore what that would look like for you. And until the next time, the best decisions, I promise you, happen where money meets meaning and purpose. Have a wonderful day.
Beyond the Numbers podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.